Bonjour mes amis, et bienvenue au Pendu dans le Cercle de Lune. Hello friends, if this is your first time here, welcome. Thank you for coming. I'm pleased to meet you. If you've been here before, thank you for returning. I'm truly honored. Friends, if you are a returning visitor, you know from my attempt at a French introduction to this video that this is my series in which I use Terre de Marseille adjacent and antique Italian decks to help me pull a central message out from our larger weekly spread. And I've done my larger weekly spread already. And if you haven't seen that already, I'll put a card up here so that you can jump over and take a look at that before returning to watch this, because having a basis of understanding for watching this video will be very helpful, I believe. And you don't have to watch that larger video all in one chunk. Yeah, you don't have to watch it from beginning to end. You can watch it in bits. That's perfectly acceptable. There is no YouTube police that's going to stop you from doing that. And I encourage you to do that. Now, just in case you have watched that larger video and want a quick refresher before you get into this one, let me remind you that the title to that video was Passion with Intent, I believe. I believe that's what I called it. And the reason why I called it Passion with Intent was because the week before we started off with change and opportunity. And an opportunity can be the spark for a new sense of inspiration and a new feeling of passion. Passion, right? The wand suits. And this week's spread pointed a lot towards those feelings of passion with the Queen of Wands, the King of Wands, the Knight. The Harris Crowley deck has Knights for the Kings, has the Knight of Wands, the Queen of Wands, a lot of fire, the Ace of Wands. But we are also called to not succumb or not to leap blindly or leap thoughtlessly into those flames, which sometimes could be a fun and good thing to do. But this time we were asked to do two things. One, take that Ace of Wands and give it the time and the attention it asks for it to be nourished and developed. And also, take the time to consider whether we are actually acting in the world that exists rather than responding to our perception of the world. We want to be clear about who we are and what we're doing in the world, and that the things we're doing are actually in alignment with and are appropriate for the world that we're living in. That world being our workplaces, our homes, our environment generally. And not necessarily the environment of the planet, although you could go that large, our immediate environments, right? The social landscape, the landscape of our groups, our clubs, our friends, our families, all of that. Whether they are interconnected or disconnected, all of that. So we want to give attention to what we're doing, how we're doing it, when we're doing it, give attention to the passions that we're feeling rise within us. But also do the work, also work and be in the world consistently with determination and with reliability. Be reliable to ourselves and to others. Does that make sense? That was basically the larger reading. And from that we will get value. We will get increased value, rewards, perhaps even recognition. So, this week's spread, I pulled some cards from a Tarot de Marseille deck, and I will show you the cards, and I also pulled 3 cards from an Oracle deck. So I'll show you that spread that I laid out right now, and we will talk about it. Oh, but before I do that, let me say thank you. Thank you for hitting the thumbs up button and for subscribing. That helps me, it helps you, but it also helps other people. It will allow the algorithm to show this video or my channel to people who have not yet seen it. So you're helping other people as well. And also thank you to those of you who've reached out for private readings from me. I really enjoy doing that, and I hope you enjoyed receiving them. So thank you to you. And if you want a private reading from me, if you want another private reading from me, my email address is below, thehangedmaninthemoon@gmail.com. Shoot me an email, we'll get you a reading. Okay? So friends, here is the spread for this week's TDM reading. Here it is. Friends, I hate to say this, but the deck that I used may be out of print. It was a very limited run. It was done by a creator in South America, I believe Argentina, maybe Chile. And the creator redrew, didn't restore, but completely redrew Tarot de Marseille. I believe it is, no, this is a Tarot Swiss. This is a Swiss Tarot de Marseille. And the colors are just gorgeous. I hope that you can see them well enough in the photo. The colors are gorgeous. The backs are, Tarot de Marseille style backs. Size is Tarot de Marseille size, I should say. But they're gorgeous. The dark blues, the golds, the colors that the creator chose are just, I think, phenomenal. It's a beautifully drawn and very clean deck. If it's still available or the creator wants to do another run or has done another run of this deck, I don't know. If I have information, I'll put it in the description box below. So you saw, from left to right, we had the 3 of Coins, the Justice card, and the 4 of Swords. Very interesting. Especially because the Justice card, we had the Justice card in the first pairing of the larger spread for this week. So the Justice card coming up here in the center again was powerful, I think. And because Justice was at the center of these 3 cards, I think this is the primary idea, the primary thought, the primary symbol for this set of 3 cards. So the Justice card with her 2 scales is going to balance these 2 aspects, the 3 and the 7. I'm sorry, the 4. The 3 and 4, which add up to 7, which is actually the Chariot card. Never mind. So we start off with Justice in the center, who is beautiful. Beautiful card, right? Absolutely beautiful. Justice is perfection, it's harmony and balance in the way I read Tarot de Marseille. It can also be maturity. Now, some people would associate maturity possibly with the Hermit card, but for me, Justice is maturity, a mature mind, the maturity to judge, to make judgments. It could be legal actions, it could be cosmic law as well, or karma, but judging, balancing, the ability to allow, authorize, or to forbid. And it's a very rational card, right? Reasoning by rules and norms. So, the central message is that in our passions that are occurring perhaps naturally, we're asked to give attention to justice, justice in the world, but justice here, I think, even more importantly, that we judge what we're doing, what we are using, how we're acting in the world, clearly and with maturity. That we balance the things that we're doing and the resources that we're using. That we reason by our rules and our norms. Not necessarily following the rules and norms of society, but following our own inner laws and our own inner truths. Because they exist. And if we follow them, we will find ourselves hopefully in balance. We should find ourselves in balance. And what are we going to be balancing? Well, we're going to be balancing two otherwise ill-dignified suits. We're going to be balancing the coins and the swords, earth and air, our doing and our thinking. So let's start off with one side, which is the three of coins. It can be investment, but it's starting projects, starting work, starting business, and the first gains from that, the first products from the work that we're doing. Our material investment and its first return, which could also be a first loss, but I think in this week we're talking about a first returns. The decision to do something with unknown results is also a possibility here. So we're deciding to do things, and the things that we're doing, we're starting to see results from those things. We're balancing that on one side, where on the other side, we have the Four of Swords. And you see in these swords, we have a flower blossoming, a strong, healthy flower blossoming in the center of this protective oval. And the Four of Swords is taking caution, being conservative, not in the sense of conservative progressive, but rather conservative as in conserving what we have. Yeah? Not you doing things, maintaining what we have. Yeah. Also analyzing how things are working, thinking rationally, systematically. Right? Things that are integral to the justice card. Our thoughts, our thinking, and our maturity puts us in a really strong position in this card. But we want to be practical. We want to think practically and act upon reality with those practical thoughts. We want to be organized and have a stable mind. So we have an organized, stable mind, mature thinking, very solidly positioned, and the work we do is also what? The work we do will give us results. If we can balance the two, balance our thinking and our working in the world, because if we just think and act with rationality, we'll be out of balance. If we just do and look for gains, we'll be out of balance. We want both of these balanced together with our own internal guide, our own internal rules and norms. I think that is the primary message from this week's spread. That in the midst of our growing passion, that we act intentionally, we consider what we're going to do before we do it, and we keep doing stuff. We don't get lost in our thinking and rationalizing, right? We actually do the work so that we get the fruits, and we don't expect that we'll get all of the results right away, that the results will be in increments, in like Capricorn. You may be saying, what the hell is he talking about? Like Capricorn. Like Capricorn. Capricorn, the zodiacal sign is like a goat climbing up a mountain. We'll get to the top, but it's going to take time, and may even take working with others. They'll get to the top, but it's going to take time. It's not one leap up to the top of the Himalayas. Do the work, and you will achieve success. That's what these 3 cards seem to be pointing towards. Now we had 3 cards below from the Cercle de Lune, which I've started to really love using in conjunction with Terre de Marseille. Because the image on these cards are visually harmonious with Terre de Marseille woodblock printing. They are inspired by the Terre de Marseille. And they're just plain cool, I think. You know? So, below, from the Oracle deck, giving us either advice or confirmation, we had from left to right, the blade and the snake, a little bit dangerous, the wind, a little bit more dangerous, and then the blue card. That's what this is called, the blue card, which is a card that was added by Bellin towards the end of his life, I believe. But here we start off with the blade and the snake, which is associated with Mars. Yeah? And Mars was in the first card of our larger spread for this week. The Queen of Wands is associated with Aries, which is the domicile of Mars, right? So we have Mars here, and we have Mars and the Queen of Wands. The side title to the card is Ennemi, which means enemies, which is not such a hope-inspiring title, right? So this snake here can be both disease and healing. Depends on how we use it, I suppose. The lowest part of the psyche as well. The sword is valor, being ready to enact our decisions, right? The sword, the mind. Take up the sword of the mind and we enact our decisions. So the meanings of this card, or the indications for this card, are that we should be careful of enemies. I don't know if you feel like you have any enemies, but be careful of them. Be careful of potential violence, be it verbal violence or physical violence. Be careful of your bodies. And which reminds me of the truce card from this week's larger spread. Yeah, we own our authority to stop the conflict. So here we get that here. Yeah, if there's any conflict, stop it. Just stop it. Be careful of disputes. They're not going to lead us anywhere good right now. Look out for anyone who seems to be holding a grudge against us or a rival. So we want to be careful of that disharmony that is around us. And we want to claim our authority to stop it. Not to stop it by attacking and slaughtering the opponent, but just stopping the fight. The secondary astrology here is the sun, which indicates that we have the possibility to survive, to overcome and emerge victorious, especially if we'll just stop the struggle. Now be careful of the struggle in the sense of just stop it. Don't run and hide in the corner. Don't stop it in the sense of escaping, but rather just stop it. Yeah? And the next card here is the wind. And the side title, when I say the side title, I mean these very small letters here on the side, the small word. I'm not sure how well you can see it. The side title to this card is inconstance, inconsistency. Not a very encouraging message here either, right? So here we have spirit breathing in. the breath of spirit. We also have the face, right? The face of God, its messenger, which could either be unleashing wrath or bestowing kindness. So, if we do the work of stopping the fight, then I think this is the breath of spirit bestowing kindness. If we don't do the work, if we engage our enemies, as in the sense of fighting, then this is the God's messenger unleashing wrath. We don't want that. So, inconsistent, and the astrology is the moon, which gives us that sense of inconsistency, right? Now, the moon is the pair to the sun. So, if we keep things in balance, maybe we're okay. Inconsistent behaviors and promises broken are indicated here. So we don't want to do that. Harsh words exchanged, which is problematic with this card, are indicated. We don't want to do that. If we do all of those things, what we hoped for will be unfulfilled. We don't want that. Now, in the larger spread, we were asked to step back. Manifest truce, step back. Allow the things which are detrimental to us to move out of our experience. Because if we don't do that, then what is hoped for will be unfulfilled. The secondary astrology here is Venus, which is wonderful. Next to the blade card, next to this card, it could be a warning of unstable times. Now, these two cards together, without anything else, could be warning of inconstant times, of instability. But because of this card here, because of this card here, our relationships and our outcomes could speed up. And speed up in a good way. Yeah, we have the potential to escape the harsh words, exchange of harsh words, to slip past the messages of wrath, and to move past our potential of inconsistency and breaking promises. Because with this card here, this is the blue card of the ethereal. Yeah, transition, the door to the other side, but it gives positive influences and healing to the cards that are around it. This is the good luck, great fortune card of perhaps the Kipper clan, the Kipper system. Yeah? So, we have the potential to avoid any of the negative here and find healing and survive anything that might seem to be conflict. Survive any conflict and emerge victorious, not victorious over the other person or by defeating the other person, but emerge personally victorious because we are moving in the direction of our own success. And we can do that by even avoiding inconsistency and avoiding breaking promises. Just dropped my get out of jail free card. That's the get out of jail free card. Yeah? From Monopoly. And our relationships can move more quickly if they've been stagnant. Our outcomes can speed up, though they're not going to be instantaneous. We're still going to need to do the work. But we will survive, we will be victorious. Again, not over the other person, not by defeating the other person, but by climbing up our own mountain. And not looking at the mountain as the obstacle, but the challenge, right? The growth and the expansion. Does that make sense? So, when conflict, when disagreement, when people seem to be on the attack, we stop it. We don't stop it by murdering them, no, but we assume our authority, we stop the fight, we take a step back, and we disengage. What do we call people who run away from a fight? We don't run like cowards. We don't retreat. But we step back and we observe, we look, we evaluate. And in doing so, we find our path. We find our inner truth, our inner justice, and we act ethically, harmoniously, with justice, and with a mature mind. And in doing so, we move in the direction of our success, of our desires. That's a wonderful message, especially at the beginning of the year, I think. Don't you? Does that make sense? If it does, let me know in the comments below. If it does not, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Do you see something different here? Let me know. So friends, here we are at the end of this reading. And now, as always, I wish you love, joy, well-being, and pure awareness. Thank you.